Good morning, grade 7. For this week, we'll be having a video discussion. Now, after watching this video discussion, if you still have questions, feel free to message Mr. GC or PM nyo ko directly. So, let's first talk about the personal ornaments of Mimaropa and Visayas. First, you have to answer I know on pages 406 to 407. Then now let's discuss about their traditional costume and attire. So first, we do have the Mangyan. So the Mangyans are one of the biggest ethnic groups found in Mindoro. So sa Mimaropa to. They are composed of 8 different subgroups. First one, we do have the Alangan, the Bangon, Buhid, Hanuno, Iraya, Ratagnon, Tadyawan, and we do have the Taubuhid. So, just like the ethnic groups in the mountain province, they also have unique communal characteristics and varying clothing traditions. So, magkakaiba pa rin yung characteristics at saka yung mga clothing traditions nila. Though, magkakalapit lang yung lugar na kung saan sila nakatira. So, one Mangyan subgroup is the Hanuno. Ito yon. The fourth one. And according to Lolita Delgado Fansler of the Mangyan Heritage Center, yung Hanuno Mangyan daw ay isa sa largest of the Mangyan subgroups and is arguably the most well-known. So, isa sila sa mga tinuturing na sikat. So, the Hanuno Mangyans can be easily recognized, madali silang makilala dahil dun sa indigo-colored garments nila, decorated with beaded bracelets and necklaces. So, dun sila nakikilala agad-agad na Hanuno Mangyan sila. Kasi dahil dun sa indigo-colored garments nila at saka may decorated ng beaded bracelets and necklaces. So the men of this ethnic group traditionally wear a loincloth and top of it is with a shirt. So ito yung shirt nila. Ang tawag dito ay balukas. Yung Hanuno women naman, they wear a skirt which they make using a textile called ramit. So ito yun, yung ramit. And pinipair nila to sa blouse na ang tawag naman ay, ito yun, ang tawag ay lambong. So both sexes wear a rattan belt with called hagkus. So yun yung tawag dun sa belt na sinusuot nila. Their bags, so ito yon yung bags, and are made of buri and nito, which is a forest plant indigenous to the area. So yung mga materials na ginagamit dito ay yung matatagpuan lang din sa lugar nila. So the decorative design patterns called pakudos of the Hanuno, ito yon yung pakudos, ito yung decorative pattern nila. These are composed of simple geometric lines. These patterns start off with a cross that branches out to the other lines. So ito, kung titingnan nyo siya, wait lang, yan. Ganyan yung itsura ng pakudos design. So these are used to decorate many Mangyan crafts and products. Ginagamit siya para itong design na to para i-decorate yung crafts at saka products ng Mangyan. So next one, we do have the Tagbanwa. The Tagbanwa is one of the earliest ethnic groups in the island of Palawan. So Palawan naman. Their traditional attire is made of bark that was beaten and softened to produce the fibers, which would be used for weaving. The men traditional wear long cloths, while the women wear wrap-around skirts. Though their clothing is relatively simple, they make up for it with their accessories. So kahit daw simple lang yung mga kasuotan nila, ang ginagawa nila is nagsusuot sila ng mga accessories. So the men wear bracelets and earplugs that are carved out of wood. So yung mga kalalakihan, ang ginagawa nila, nagsusuot sila ng bracelets at saka earplugs na gawa sa kahoy. While the women wear beaded necklaces and metal anklets. So, ang ginagawa nila, nagsusuot naman yung women, yung mga kababaihan ng mga necklaces at saka metal anklets. So, these are the Tagbanwa. Now, let's proceed to Visayas. If the women of the lowlands of Luzon have their barotsaya, kung meron daw barotsaya sa lowlands of Luzon, the women do sa Visayas region have their kimona and patanjong. So, ito yung kimona and ito yung patanjong. Yung kimona, ito yon. It is a loose blouse with loose fitting sleeves. It is traditionally made of cotton and is worn every day. So, ginagamit nila to araw-araw. Some are made of pineapple fibers, which are light and translucent, similar to that of the barong, and are also worn for more formal events. So, yung ibang kimona ay gawa siya sa pineapple fibers at kadalasan na ginagamit siya or sinusuot siya sa formal events. It is often accompanied by the patajong, which is wraparound skirt that is tied or rolled down around the waist. So, ito yung patajong. Yung pambaba nila. Ito yung patajong. It comes in bright and colorful variation with patterns of checkered and plaid. The patajong is traditionally made of fabric called the hablon. So yung hablon, it is a colorful hand-woven fabric. Although it is found all over the Visayas, it is considered one of Iloilo's most popular regional products, yung hablon. It was popular in the Visayas even before the time of Spaniards. So, bago pa dumating yung mga Spaniards, popular na siya sa Visayas. It was used to barter with the other Asian countries. So, pinapalit siya dati. And was highly sought after due to its beauty. Shiny kasi yung appearance ng hablon. And durability. In the late 18th century, yung hablon, among the other textiles, was one of Iloilo's main exports. So, isa siya sa ini-export sa Iloilo. It was so popular that Iloilo was then considered to be the textile capital of the Philippines. So, yun yung naging reason kung bakit tinawag yung Iloilo na textile capital of the Philippines. So, yung word na hablon, derive siya or nanggaling siya sa word na, sa Hiligaynon term, habol, which means to weave. The hablon is made of cotton, abaca, or pineapple fibers. It is also used to make a scarf. So, pwede rin makagawa ng scarf gamit yung hablon or a shawl and a wraparound that can be used to hold an infant. So, yun yung hablon. But unfortunately, the hablon industry is no longer as popular as before. So, sa ngayon, hindi na siya kasing sikat nung sa dati. With the proliferation of imported and cheaper fabrics, the demand for hablon has dwindled. So, bumaba na yung demands ng hablon dahil nga marami ng mga imported at saka mga cheaper fabrics. So nonetheless, there are still municipalities in the Philippines like Megao that continue to preserve and develop this weaving tradition for future generation. Pero kahit daw mas mas gusto na ng mga tao ngayon yung other imported and cheaper fabrics, yung hablon, may mga municipalities pa rin dito sa Pilipinas na pine-preserve yung hablon at dinedevelop pa rin yung weaving tradition para sa future generation. The next one, we do have the tattoos. So, this is a type of ornamentation. So, na-discuss na natin to before. It is a type of ornamentation that was prevalent throughout the archipelago before the arrival of the Spanish colonizer. So, ang isang example dito, ay yung pintados. Pero paano nga ba nagkaroon ng pintados or ng word na pintados? So, when the Spaniards arrived in the Philippines, nung dumating yung mga Spanyol, many of our ancestors had tattoos that covered their whole body. So, yung mga ancestors daw natin, um, marami sa kanila ay yung mga tatuan ang buong katawan. Because of this, the country was nicknamed La Isla de los Pintados or the Island of the Painted Ones. So, yung Pintados are tattooed indigenous people in the Visayas. So, yun yung mga taong yun. The tattooing designs and processes used by the Pintados differ. So, magkakaiba po, but the reason is the same, to prove one's courage. The male Pintados tattoo themselves from their ankles to the neck. This, this body art is also found with those ethnic groups like in the Kalinga and the Fugaos. So, ikino-consider naman to, itong tattoo sa Kalinga at saka sa Ifugao as status symbols. But since the process of getting a tattoo is quite agonizing, so medyo mahirap kasi yun, masakit. It was thought that only the bravest, so parang naging thought na kung sino lang yung pinakamatatapang at pinakamalalakas yung makaka-tiis nung pain or nung sakit. Like that of the communities of the mountain province, so that's katulad nung nasa mga mountain province, the pintados considered tattoos as recognitions of a warrior's accomplishment in the field of battle. So, kinoconsider nila yung tattoo ng isang tao as accomplishment ng isang warrior sa mga sa battlefield. As Christianity was propagated, so nun ngang lumalaganap na yung Christianity, the tattoo practices were considered evil and barbaric. So, kinonsider na siya as evil and barbaric. Ito yung naging reason kung bakit which eventually led to the demise of the practice in the region, kung bakit hindi na siya masyadong pinapractice dati. But today, the Pintados are remembered through the annual Pintados Festival celebrated in June. So, sinaselebrate siya during the month of June sa Tacloban City, sa Leyte. So, street dancers are painted with tattoo designs and parade the city in honor of the region's pre-Hispanic history and the Santo Niño. So, ito yung sample picture ng festival nila. Pintados Festival. Again, sa Tacloban City, Leyte ito. Next. Right, after that, you have to answer the questions on page 410, I accomplish A. Again, I accomplish A lang po. Hindi na po kasama ang B. You're going to write your answer on your intermediate pad. And then next, for your transfer, nakikita nyo dun sa learning guide, based on your modular book, follow instructions in iCreate, pages 410, 411. Yung instructions po ay nasa 410. Yung nasa 411 ay yung rubric kung paano gigradean or i-rate yung inyong gawa. So, design of t-shirt inspired by the Pacudas design pattern. Kailangan po ba na gumamit ng mismong t-shirt? Hindi naman po. Pwede nyong i-drawing na lang yung t-shirt sa paper, sa band paper, and then doon nyo na lang designan. Pero ang pattern nyo na gagamitin or ang design ay yung pakudos. And then after that, answer I achieved, pages 411 to 412. Write your answer at the back of your learning guide. So that's it for the lesson 1. So now let's proceed to our next lesson, which is the architecture, sculptures, and wares of Mimaropa and the Visayas. Again, first, you have to answer I know on page 414. Where are you going to write your answer? At the back of your learning guide. Kasya po yan. The next, after that, let's proceed to the lesson proper. Let's talk first about the colonial churches. We do have the Santo Niño Basilica and the Baclayon Church. We also have the Taoist Church and the Miag-ao Church. So first, this is the Santo Niño Basilica Church. So it is also called Basilica del Santo Niño. This is the second oldest church in the Philippines. So pangalawa siya sa pinaka matagal ng church dito sa Pilipinas. It is located in Cebu and houses one of the most popular religious sculptures in the country, yung Santo Niño. Nandito po yung Santo Niño natin. It was erected on the place where the image of the Santo Niño was discovered during the expedition of Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. The current church, which was started in 1735, so year 1735 pa po nag-start yung church, tong church na to, is the fourth church that was built in the area. So yung current church, yung church ngayon, it was actually the fourth church that was built dun sa lugar devoted to the Holy Child. The materials used were transported from the different parts of Cebu. Its design was built to withstand earthquakes. So, yung design na to ay ginawa para pinatibay yung gawa na to para laban dun sa mga earthquakes. However, it has lived up to its design until the 2013 earthquake that damaged some of its part. Fortunately, it is being restored as of right. So, na-restore pa rin naman. Next one is the Baclayon Church. This is one of the oldest Roman Catholic church in the country, formerly known as, ang tawag na sa kanya ay the Immaculate Conception of the Virgin Mary Parish Church. It was completed in 1727 using coral stone. So, yun po yung ginamit, and banded using egg whites. Its interior features of an altarpiece carved with the indigenous plants and animals and decorated with gold. So, na-include siya sa UNESCO World Heritage Tentative List under the Philippines until it was destroyed in the October 2013 earthquake. So, na-destroy din to during the 2013 earthquake. In 2017, during nung Holy Week, the church was opened to tourists. So, until today, nire-restore pa rin po itong Baclayon Church. Next one, we do have the Taoist Church. Yung Taoist Church naman, another noteworthy church in the Bohol. Sa Bohol pa rin po ito. It is formally known as the Church of Our Lady of Assumption. It was built in the late 19th century. Its interiors are decorated with frescoes painted by the renowned artist Ray Francia. It is not only known for its beauty, hindi lang daw siya kilala dahil dun sa beauty niya or kagandahan, but also known for its miraculous well, which is believed to heal people who drink its water. So, sikat din siya dun sa miraculous well or mapaghimalang balon na pinaniniwalaan na kung sino mo makakainom ng tubig na nandun ay gagaling. Unfortunately, it was also hit by the same earthquake noong 2013 that destroyed the Baclayon Church. It is also currently being restored but will take time to be finished. So, currently, nire-restore pa rin siya pero it will take time para matapos. And then the last one, we do have the Miag-ao Church. Ito naman ay matatagpuan sa Iloilo. So, in Iloilo, you will find another UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Miag-ao Church. So, ito yung isa sa 4 UNESCO-recognized Baroque churches in the Philippines. This Miag-ao Church is formally known as the Church of Saint Thomas de Villanueva. It is likened to a fortress with its imposing wall flanked at its side by its two bell towers. So, ito yan. yung dalawang bell towers. So, on its pediment is a depiction of the Saint Christopher carrying the child Jesus. Miagao Church is surrounded by indigenous flora such as coconut, papaya, and palm tree. So, we do have the Santo Niño Basilica Church, the Baclayan Church, the Taoist Church, and Miagao Church. So, itong tatlo, it was hit by an earthquake, pero itong dalawa, nare-restore pa rin. And this one, it is being restored, but will take time to be finished. So, these are the colonial churches. Now, let's proceed to the heritage houses. So, throughout the country, there are many houses that are deemed historically and culturally important by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, or the NHCP. So, ang NHCP is a commission that is tasked, sila yung na atasan na mag-save and preserve ng structures for us to appreciate and value the rich history of our country. So, yung mga pinreserve na houses, ang tawag dun ay heritage houses. Anong example ay ito. Ang tawag dito ay Balay Negrense, or it is a heritage house in Silay, Bacolod. And we also have the Halundini Ancestral House and the Holefenia Ancestral House. So, ito, Halundini Ancestral House and the Balay Negrense were converted into museums. Naging museums na sila ngayon. These heritage houses are the Visayan version of the bahay na bato, which are made with its finest wood and the sturdiest stone. So the houses have high ceilings. So yung mga house na to, matataas yung ceilings nila, surrounded by high and wide windows. So, matataas at malalawak din yung mga windows, decorated with intricately wrought iron grills. The interior of these houses feature elaborate and flowing wood carvings and that serve as the visions of the room. So, ito yung mga heritage houses dito sa Philippines. Examples lang po ito, marami pang iba. So again, we do have the Balay Negrense, or the Hagaston Ancestral House, the Halundini Ancestral House. So itong dalawa, kinonvert na siya sa into museums. And then this one, this is the Holefenia Ancestral House. Next one, let's proceed to the sculpture. We do have the Manunggol jar, the Santo Niño, and the Moriones mask. So, talented sculptures are not only limited in Luzon. The Mimaropa region and Visayas Islands are home to many sculptural artifacts. So, ito yung mga examples. Yung Manunggol, Santo Niño, and Moriones. So, yung Manunggol jar, ito yun, itong itsura niya. This is found in Palawan. This is one of the most important archaeological finds in the Philippines. This burial jar is incised with dots and wavy designs on its top. So, ito yun. And covered with a lid that shows two figures on a boat. Ito yun. Ito yung cover niya. Itong taas na to. So, one of the figures is rowing the boat, while the other is in the fetal position, which is believed to be the representation of the deceased. So, pinaniniwalaan, ito ay representation ng mga nung namatay na nandito sa jar. So, this artifact is considered as a national treasure, not only because of its high level of craftsmanship, but more importantly, it proves that the early Filipinos believed in the afterlife. So, isa din daw to sa pinaniniwalaang ebidensya or proof, patunay that yung mga early Filipinos ay naniniwala daw sila sa afterlife. So, itong Manunggol jar ay nakadisplay to sa National Museum. Next one, we do have the Santo Niño. Yung Santo Niño, this is one of the most popular religious icons in the Philippines. So ito yung first Christian statue na dinala dito sa bansa natin ni Magellan noong 1521. The statue was given to the wife of Raha Humabon. So binigay siya dun sa asawa ni Raha Humabon. It was later found in the ruins of the village Anscat. The area where it was found is the current location of the Church of the Santo Niño. So, yung area na kung saan nakuha tong Santo Niño or yung sculpture ng Santo Niño ay yun din yung kinatatayuan ngayon ng Church of the Santo Niño. Kung saan yung statue naman ni Santo Niño ay doon sa church na yon iniingatan. So next one, we do have the Moriones mask. Ito naman, Moriones mask, this is one of the most eye-catching props used in the festival. Traditionally, yung Moriones mask ay carved from wood. So that traditionally carved siya sa wood, brightly painted and decorated with paper flowers. So may mga decoration siya. It is carved to look like that of the Roman soldiers. The features of the face of the soldiers are exaggerated to incite ridicule from the onlookers, which is also the of part of the penance of the participant. So yung mask, itong Moriones mask, this is heavy and uncomfortable when worn, but is endured by the penitents as part of the sacrifices for the Lenten season. So, mabigat siya, tas hindi nga komportableng suotin, pero ini-endure siya ng mga nagpepenitensya kapag, as part of the sacrifices, kapag mahal na araw. So, yun yung Moriones mask. Now, let's proceed to the functional art. We do have the base mat, the capiz shell, and the tingkop. So yung base mat, these are the woven mats, locally known as banig. So ito yung mga banig. These are made of pandan leaves. Gawa sila sa dahon ng pandan that are stripped, boiled, dyed, and woven. These are ideal for a tropical climate such as in the Philippines since it is porous and lets the air pass through, cooling the user. So, ideal daw siya sa mga tropical country gaya ng Pilipinas kasi nga kapag ginagamit siya ay malamig kasi nakakapasok yung hangin. So, mats are versatile and can be used every day and even during special occasion. So, yung banig, these are found all over the country. But in Basay Samar, this is simple and utilitarian object. So ito ay ginagamit or yung Basay mat, the Basay mat uses the indigenous tico grass. The mat is surrounded by decorative patterns. So marami siyang patterns with which border the main artwork that is typically that of different flowers. May mga design din siya ng mga flowers, gaya ng orchids, landscape, such as San Juanico Bridge, religious figure like the Santo Niño. So may iba't ibang design din yung base mat. So next we do have the Capiz shell. The province of Capiz is known for its Capiz shell or the window pane oyster. This is used for everyday wares like window. Ginagamit siya sa mga bintana at saka sa lanterns or even siya sa mga jewelry. Marami rin itong ibang pinaggagamitan or pwedeng ma-produce using the copy shell. Pwede rin makagawa ng lamp, containers, or window covering. Since it offers privacy, yet nakakapag-allow siya ng na pumasok yung sinag ng araw kasi nga manipis siya. It is also used as coverings for jewelry boxes, ornaments for wind chimes, among others. So next, or the last one, we have the tingkop. or this is the product of the Tagbanwa in Palawan. So the tingkop, it is a woven harvest basket. This is cone-shaped basket that is made of strips of bamboo supported by rattan. So gawa siya sa bamboo na sinusupport lang ng rattan. The Tagbanwa weavers use the variation of the natural colors of the bamboo to create a design pattern. So yung mga weavers, Tagbanwa weavers, gumamit sila ng iba't ibang natural colors ng bamboos para makagawa ng design dito sa tingkop. It is mainly used to carry rice seedlings. So, nilalagyan siya ng mga um, binhi ng palay. So again, we do have the Basay Math in Basay Summer, and then the Capiz Shell and the tingkop sa Palawan. Next up, you have to also answer the questions on page 420. I accomplished letter A lang. Hindi nakasama ang letter B. Sasagutan nyo ito sa intermediate pad at i-attach nyo sa learning guide nyo. And then for your transfer, follow the instructions in iCreate. Pages 420, nasa 420 yung instruction. 421 naman yung rubric on recreating a simple mariones mask. So, pwede rin kayong manood dun sa YouTube. May QR code doon. Pwede nyo rin yung scan. And magsisend din ako ng link sa inyo kung paano gumawa ng mariones mask. Then after that, answer I achieved on pages 421 to 422. Write your answer at the back of your learning guide. So, bali, since there are two output that you'll be doing, yung una ay yung design ng Pocodos shirt, and the next one is yung Mariones mask, i-extend ko na lang yung submission. You can submit your output until, so pwede kayong mag-submit until November. Dapat ay hanggang 15 lang. Pero pwede kayong mag-submit until November 22 nung dalawa nyong output. Yung output lang ha, but yung written task ninyo, you have to submit that on November 15. So that's all for today, grade 7. Thank you so much. If you have questions, feel free to ask me.